So vertices of triangle ABC are A is 11 and 3, B is 2k and k, and C is -1 and -11. So we're asked to find the two possible values of k if angle ABC is 90 degrees. So if we drew a rough diagram of this triangle, we might get something like this, ABC. But just keep in mind the angle that has a 90 degrees is always this middle vertex. So in this case, B. But this diagram might not be correct. We actually don't know the coordinate of B. So only once we have what k is equal to do we know where the coordinate of B will end up. So the way we're going to solve this question is using our knowledge of perpendicular lines. So line BC is perpendicular to BA. So since angle ABC is 90 degrees, in other words BC is perpendicular to BA, we know that the gradients of AB, when you multiply it with the gradient of BC, so the gradient of this line multiplied by the gradient of its perpendicular line, will always give us -1. So in this case we're going to use this formula, the gradient of AB times the gradient of BC, must give us -1. So now we just go and get what is the gradient of AB in terms of k, what is the gradient of BC in terms of k, and we just make it equal to -1 when we multiply those together and we solve for k. So the gradient of AB, remember this is going to be change in y over change in x, so you can say change in y is k minus 3, which we have here, over 2k minus 11 for change in x. We're going to multiply that by the gradient of BC, so there we could say minus 11 minus k for its change in y, and -1 minus 2k for its change in x, and we have that equal to -1. So now we just simplify. So k minus 3 over 2k minus 11, we're going to keep this the same. So what we could do with the gradient of BC here, so we can take out -1 as a common factor in the numerator and -1 as a common factor in the denominator, and just cancel it out, and that will just simplify to k plus 11 over 2k plus 1. So that's all still equal to -1. But the next thing now is to get rid of these denominators. So if you're dividing by 2k minus 11 and you're dividing by 2k plus 1, to get rid of these values out the denominator, we have to multiply this side by 2k minus 11 and 2k plus 1. But what you do to one side, you got to do to the other. And then we can just multiply k minus 3 and k plus 11. So we can put those next to each other. So we're going to have k minus 3 times k plus 11 is equal to -1 multiplied by 2k minus 11 and 2k plus 1. So these denominator values, when we multiply it on the left side by them, they just get multiplied by the -1 here. And now we're going to multiply out and solve for k. So this becomes k squared plus 8k minus 33 is equal to -4k squared plus 20k plus 11. So when you multiply all this out on the right hand side, you should get this value. Now we're going to get all terms to one side, and we're going to try and factorize to see if we can get our values for k. So taking all values to the left, so in other words, to get this -4k squared to the left hand side, you have to add 4k squared to both sides. So that will give us 5k squared on the left hand side. We're going to minus by 20k to get us -12k, and then -11 to get -44. And now we can factorize and solve this equation. So factorize and you'll get 5k minus 22 and k plus 2 in brackets, all equal to 0. So this means that 5k minus 22 must be equal to 0, or k plus 2 must be equal to 0. So this gives us that k is equal to 22 over 5, or in other words 4.4. And k plus 2 equals 0 will give us k equals -2. So these are our solutions for k, when this vertex B is 90 degrees. So just to finish this off, if k is equal to -2, which was our one solution, then our triangle would become ABC, where B is -4, -2. So all you do here is you take this k equals -2 and sub it into this coordinate, So 2 times minus 2 is minus 4, and k is just minus 2, so minus 2. So this would be the triangle when k equals minus 2. If you sub in k equals 4.4, then our triangle would become ABC, but now B is the point 8.8 and 4.4. So same thing, you take 4.4, sub it in place of k, you've got 2 times 4.4, which is 8.8, and k is 4.4, so that's our y value. And that's it.